So hello everyone. So now from this video session, today's video session, so we start with our second chapter in your first module, Introduction to CSS. So in first chapter, we discussed about HTML, HTML basic structure. So how to create HTML web page by using HTML, how to create web page. So what's the basic structure of your HTML? So that are basics, which are all the basics related to HTML, that things we discussed in first chapter. Okay, so the main difference between HTML and CSS is, so in HTML, so HTML mainly used to provide basic structure for your web page. Okay, so HTML mainly used to give basic structure for your web page, but this CSS is used to add extra feature, just like designing features. Okay, so just if you consider one house, so just if you construct one house, just you construct building, that building construction idea will give by HTML. Okay, so that interior designing, and then what which are all the things, extra things you are doing, painting and then plumbing and then some decorative works, all those things information will be provided by your CSS. Okay, this CSS will give the styles to your web page. Okay, external styles, just like we are decorating your house, that's styles will be provided by your CSS. So that's why they give a name, cascading style sheet. So cascading means we are going to attach extra styles to our web page. So CSS means cascading style sheet. So here they explain, CSS is a W3 standard for describing the appearance of HTML elements. So it describes, this CSS will describes the external appearance of your HTML elements. Another common way of describe CSS function is to say that CSS is used to define presentation of HTML documents. So this one is mainly used for presenting HTML documents. Okay, with CSS we can assign font properties, means you can change the font style, font family, and then font size, okay, of your data. Okay, and then colors, font colors, and then size also you can increase, and then you can give borders to your paragraph, heading tags, and then div tags. So and then you can insert background images, okay, and even position elements on your page. So you can insert the position. So that positions we discussed in second module, second chapter. Okay, so CSS can be added directly to the HTML element by the way of style attribute within a head element, or most commonly in a separate text files that contains only CSS. So in last class I explained, while I am explaining your lab programs. So CSS we can insert to HTML in three different ways. One is inline CSS, internal and external. So here CSS you can add directly to the HTML element. How we can add directly to the HTML element? By using style attribute. Okay, that one we called as inline CSS, inline style sheet. Okay, and then you can also create separate file. So that I explain next, don't worry. Okay, so you can create separate CSS file, and then you can insert the different types of features to your HTML elements. Okay, so CSS means what? Cascading style sheet. We are going to attach, or we are describing the appearance of HTML elements. So what existing HTML element is there, for that we are going to add extra features. For that we are using CSS. Okay, so next, see here. So this is your HTML. Okay, HTML head body element. For this HTML head body element, see this different. This one is plain HTML document. For this, what we are going to do? We are adding features. So what features? Color feature, font style, font size, font color. Okay, and then left margin. Okay, so this PT, and I explain, don't worry. Okay, so PT is also one of the unit of representing your font size. Okay, points, we call it as points, just like pixels. In computer, the size of the element we define by using pixels. Okay, so that y pixel, your screen will be, we are dividing in the form of pixels only. Okay, pixel means one unit in your monitor, means in your output screen. Okay, so and then we can also use points. Okay, for 0.8 pixel we called as 1 point. Okay, so we have different units. Okay, so here you see, first you listen here and then write. Listen. This one is your HTML plain document. For that we are attaching what? CSS file. Okay, this one is CSS file. Don't worry, now I explain the syntax. Okay, so if after attaching this one, here you see you are getting HTML document, color document. We are inserting color and then different font size and all. Okay, font family and all. Then you get a HTML document. Okay, this type we are attaching CSS to your HTML document. Okay, so next, benefits of CSS. So advantage, what are all the advantage of CSS? Why we need to use CSS? So first one is improve the control over formatting. So for improving control over formatting, in a sense, if you want to change the appearance of your web page, so assume first you created one web page by using some of the features, some of the font size, font family. But if you want to change the font family, okay, after that also, after you hosted your website, again you need to change the color and then font size. Then what you can do, you can directly go to the CSS page and then change the color. Then that one will be applied to all the web pages which are all linking CSS. Okay, no need to change the color for each and every page. So once you created, once again you create madidmele, okay, one CSS page, once you created one CSS page, so that CSS page you can attach to any number of HTML pages. Okay, are you understand? So one CSS page you can attached to n number of HTML pages. So if you make changes in one CSS page, that will be applied to n number of HTML pages. So that's why the first they mentioned improve the control over formatting. So if you want to change the format or if you want to change your visual modification, so then it will be very easy. The degree of formatting control in CSS is significantly better than the provided in HTML. CSS gives web authors fine-grained control over the appearance of their web content. Okay, and then second one is improved site maintainability. So this improves the site maintainability means, so here, for example, if you are a developer, so you need to worry, not get more worried about changing the code, or if you want to make any alterations, so if you don't worry. Okay, why? Because if you can create only one single CSS page, and then from that single CSS page you can monitor all other web pages, and then you can modify all other web pages. Okay, so and then improve the accessibility. So if you are using CSS, through CSS you can access HTML pages. Okay, and then next one is improved page download speed. So why they are mentioning improved page download speed? When your page download speed will get increases. For example, if you want to download one file, when that file will be downloaded fast? When it will get downloaded fast? ಯಾವಾಗ download fast ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? I am asking you only. Huh? When the file size is less. Okay, when the file size is less, okay, then only your file will get downloaded fast. So how this CSS will reduce the file size? ಹೆಂಗ್ file size reduce ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? You can create only one CSS page, ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು CSS ನ page ನ create ಮಾಡಿ, then that one CSS page, designing page, you can attach to n number of HTML pages. 10 HTML pages, assume you have 10 HTML pages. For 10 HTML pages, you can attach only one single CSS page. If you are not using that single CSS page, that single CSS page features, designing features, if you attach to all 10 HTML pages, then what happens? That the file size will get increases. Okay, here what we are going to do? So here the 10 CSS files, HTML files, CSS designing part, we are put it in a one file. Okay, that 10 file size will reduce to single file. Okay, then the file size will get decreases. Okay, then the download speed will get increases. The site build using a centralized set of CSS files. So that thing I am explaining. Okay, one CSS file, that one is a centralized CSS files for all presentation, which also be quicker to download because each individual HTML file will contain less style information. Okay, and markup, and thus it be smaller. If the file size is smaller, it will download fastly. And then improve the output flexibility. So it increases the output flexibility, means here in CSS you have plenty of designing options. okay, and then by using that you can design and then you can see the outputs, okay. Flexibly means how you want to change, okay, you can make the changes, okay. So here this one is the figure will show the output flexibility. Actually this one we called as responsive design, okay, responsive design. So by using CSS you can create responsive web pages. Output flexibility means you can responsive in the sense you can open your web page in almost all the devices, from small resolution device to high end device, from your mobile to your desktop, okay, you can view the website having same format, okay. That one, that features will be enhanced in CSS. So that way we discussed in second chapter, in second module. So there responsive designing is there, okay. So these are all the advantages. In example, if they has defined CSS and then explain the benefits of CSS, then you have to define CSS by providing one simple examples, okay, and then you have to explain the benefits of CSS, okay. So next one is CSS version. CSS version. Now currently we are using CSS 3 actually, but now they are introducing CSS 4. Okay, CSS 4 also introduced. Okay, but that one is not mainly used. But we are mainly dependent on CSS 3. Okay, so this one is the history of CSS. Listen here, listen here. Okay, in earlier 90s, a variety of different style sheet standards were proposed, including JavaScript style sheet, which was proposed by Netscape. Actually, this CSS was introduced by Netscape. So that Mozilla, what you are using now, Mozilla Firefox, so that Mozilla Firefox browser also introduced by your Netscape company only, and then this CSS also introduced by Netscape. That's why if you go and see any web developer, okay, designing, okay, if you, any web developer designing, he mainly prefers Mozilla Firefox, okay, rather than Google Chrome. Okay, Google Chrome ಗಿಂತ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು Firefox use ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Why? Because it will be well supported for web application development. Okay, they introduced actually that Nescafe company, they introduced the CSS. Okay, so Nescafe proposal was one that required the use of JavaScript programming to perform styles changing. So W3C decided to adopt CSS. Okay, so in the end of 1996, so they introduced first level. Okay, after that later they introduced the CSS 2, and then after that W3 working with CSS 3. So in each version what they are going to do in the sense they are updating the new features, they are going to add extra new features to the existing one. Okay, so now we are using that W3 recommended that CSS selectors are there now, CSS namespace are there, CSS media queries. This media query is mainly used for responsive designing. I told right. So on mobile in the matte you can design the web page for your mobile to your desktop. So that one we called as responsive design by using media queries they introduced, and then CSS colors. In CSS also we have different types of colors. So you know color, for color we can give only name, no, we can give hexadecimal value, HSL colors also there, okay, RGB colors also there, okay. So and then linear gradient, so many different types of features they introduced in this CSS that we see next one by one, okay. And then browser adaptation. So here you see this CSS, some of the features are not supported by some of the browsers. Actually this one is browser dependent language actually, okay, but maximum all the features will supported by your Firefox, okay. So some of the features will not supported in Google Chrome. So are you observed in some of the websites, if you opened in Google Chrome, okay, it will show all the contents, but if you open in Internet Explorer it will not support. Why? Because this HTML and CSS are browser dependent programming language. In your browser, if you have that version, if you have the capacity of executing that file, means your browser having the inbuilt function to execute that file, then only it will be execute the contents of your CSS. Okay, so that's why if you want to design any web page, you install updated versions, current version of your browser. So now almost all current versions of your Chrome, Firefox, okay, they supported all the CSS3 new existing functionalities. Okay, so you can execute your programs in Firefox and as well as Internet Explorer and as well as Chrome. Okay, it will be support. Don't worry. Okay, but mainly you use Chrome and Firefox. Okay, so next one is CSS syntax. Okay, the CSS syntax is very easy. Okay, very easy. Just like how you written your function. Okay, in that same way we are writing the CSS syntax. Okay, this CSS contains mainly three things. One is selector, property, value, pair. Selector, property, value, pair. Selector, property, value, pair. Okay, that you have to remember in your mind. Selector, property, value. Okay, see, this one is your CSS syntax. Selector, okay, listen here, all of you listen here. First, selector, you have to mention the selector and then open curly braces. This one we call as declaration block. So inside this you mention property. First you mention the property, colon, value, and then you end with semicolon. So below that you can write the next properties. You can enter any number of properties. Okay, first is what? Selector. Okay, and then open curly braces or your flower braces, and then you mention property, and then for that property you have to mention the value, end with semicolon. If you made mistake in this syntax, it will not execute the future. Okay, are you understand? Okay, so next we see, this one is the syntax. Okay, this one is the syntax. Next we see what is selector. So selector is nothing but, don't worry, listen here, listen and then write. Select here is nothing but elements in your CSS. In your CSS, you declare elements, right? Elements. Which are all the elements? You already discussed. We already discussed which are all the elements. Elements are what? ಏನು elements ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವುದು? For paragraph tag, which one is the element? P. P is the element. For heading tag, for 6 different types, H1, H1, H2, to H6 elements. HTML is the element. For body is the element. Head is the element. Title is the element, right? So selector is nothing but in the place of selector, you mention elements of your HTML. Not only elements, we can mention different things that I explain next, different types of selectors. Okay, and then property. Properties are nothing but the attributes. I told attributes, some of the attributes, right? For inserting background image, we use what? We use what for which property? Background. Background we used, right? Image, and then for background color, BG color. Okay, and then for giving font size we are using font, and then color, for color we are using color. Okay, property is nothing but attributes in your HTML, not exactly that one, but somehow that will matches the features. Okay, so here selector is nothing but elements. Okay, and then property is nothing but your attributes, and then for that we have to mention the values na mention ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Okay na? So ಇವಾಗ background color ಗೆ BG color use ಮಾಡಿದ್ವು ಅಲ್ವಾ? So for BG color you enter some color, right? That color name is the value. Okay, so in this way only you have to declare what? Your CSS. This is the structure of your CSS. Okay, only this much: selector, property, value. Okay, in exam if they ask define CSS and they explain the syntax for declaring the CSS, then you have to write this one. Okay, so see this one is the example. In the place of selector, see here, this one is what? Paragraph, right? Paragraph is the selector. Okay, and then for that paragraph they are fixing margin is the property. Okay, so here 5 pixel, 10 pixel. Okay, that I explained in next I explain in box model, don't worry. And then font weight, bold. Okay, and then font family, Arial. Okay, Helvetica, and then sans serif. Okay, these three, why they are mentioning three in the sense, some of the browsers will not support this sans serif. Okay, so some browser will support Arial only. So in which browser you are executing, that one it will be pick. Okay, that's why they mentioned multiple names. Okay, font here, this, listen, the main thing is P is the property, and then P is the selector, and then properties are margin, font weight, and font family. For these three things, what values you are giving, that one is the value. And then here you see this one ends with semicolon. If you miss this one also, it will not apply. Okay, are you understand? So artha agidiyappa? Yes. Okay, so where we mention this one, that we see next. Okay, so next, properties. See here, next they are explaining so many different types of properties. So okay, so the CSS document consists of one or more style roles. Okay, a role consists of selector. So what I explained, that same thing they mentioned here. So that identifies the HTML element or elements will be affected, followed by a property value. pair. Okay, the series of declaration is also called declaration block. Okay, this one is your declaration block. Okay, you can add multiple properties and values. Okay, and then notice each declaration is terminated with a semicolon. This one is important. Selector. Every CSS rule begin with a selector. The selector identify which element or elements in the HTML document will be affected by the declaration in the rule. So another way of thinking selector is that they are the pattern that is used by the browser to select HTML elements that will receive the style. Okay. So this one is the syntax and example. So next we see the different types of properties. So different types of property, actually this one is recommended in CSS 2.1 version. Okay. So first one is what? Font. Okay. So here font type is fonts. If you want to change the fonts, okay. So which are all the things we can apply the fonts? Fonts means your text representation. Fonts is nothing but text representation. See here in fonts, properties are what? You can use only font. This font is we called as a single property. Single means we are clubbing all these things and then write it in one font. Okay, one font property that I explain next. Don't worry. So first one is what? Font family. Okay, if you want to give the font family, for that we use the property name called font family. Okay, for this font family you can give different values. Font families, which are all the different font families you know already? Arial, Times New Roman, Calibri, okay, Vertina. Okay, so if you open your MS Word, in that different types of font families are there, right? So you can select anyone. If your browser will support, then that one will get executed. So mainly we use Arial, Calibri and Times New Roman. Okay, for this you give value. And then font size. Okay, this font size will it will give the size to your font. Mainly we used to give in pixels. Okay, 10 pixel, 20 pixel, 30 pixel, 40. How much font size you want, that you give. This one is property name. For that you have to give value. And then font style. So font style is a property. This one is used to style your font in the form of italic. Italic or oblique we use. Italic means ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ವ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಮೇಜಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ನ ಇಟಾಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಫಾಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಇಟಾಲಿಕ್ ಆರ್ ಆಬ್ಲಿಗ್ಯೂ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಇಟಾಲಿಕ್. Okay, and then font weight means to increase the font size. Font thickness, size not size, thickness. Bold, okay, bold you can use, bolder you can use, and then you can also use values 100, 10, 200, 300. You for font weight you give values in the form of 100, 200 till 900. Otherwise you can give bold or bolder. Okay, and then font face means you can also create your own font style. So in web, in browser you can have plenty of font families, inbuilt font families. Okay, so there are open source available. You can download and attach that type of font faces. Okay, that I explained, don't worry. Okay, next if the concept will come. And then for text, okay, text appearance, letter spacing. If you want to provide spacing between each letter, okay, so that too in the form of pixels, 10 pixel, 20 pixel. Okay, and then line height while you are making your report. So you can increase the height of your texts between the texts height, right? And then text alignment. Text alignment is what? Center, right or left. And then text decoration. So this text align is horizontal view. Okay, left, right, center. This one is vertical view decoration. Vertical means bottom, top, okay, or underline. Okay, text decoration is underline or overline or go through you can use. Okay, and then text indents means if you want to write your paragraph, if you want to start your paragraph, how you start your paragraph? Are you started your paragraph from the end of your book? No, you give some space, right? That one tab space or two tab space, like that. If you want to provide space to the first line of your paragraph, for that we use text indent. Okay, and the next one is what? Color or background. If you want to insert, so here first one in font, this one is a shortened property we called font. Okay, so in shortened property we can merge all these three: font family, font size, font style, and font weight. And then all these values you can give it to only one font. Okay, and then in background also you can directly use background. Okay, so or if you want to just give background color, then you write background color and then you give value. So background image, you insert background image. These are all properties. Okay, they are not mentioned values. Okay, and then background position. Okay, background position. In background, for background position, fixed or floating, scroll. Fixed, if you give, what happened, your background will be fixed, only contents are moving. Are you observed in some of the websites, background is fixed, background ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಸ್ಕ್ರಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ವೆಬ್ ಪೇಜ್ನ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಹಂಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, for that one we use background position. And then background repeat. Background repeat ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ your background images will get repeated if the size is less. Okay, so for that we use background repeat. And then color is the property to give the color to your fonts. Okay, and then borders. Okay, in your table, if you create a table, so for table, if you want to give borders or for your each element, for your each div or your header tag or footer tag, if you want to give border, we use border property. Border color you can give, border width, and then border style. These three we merge and give it in one certain property called border. And then only one part of the border also you can design. Only top, if you want to design, you call border top color. Okay, border right color, bottom color. Okay, and then border left color. Okay, like that you can give. Okay, so and then spacing. So this spacing for use for box model that I explained in last concept of this chapter. So there you can know this, what is this padding, margin, and we have what border area. Okay, and then next one is size. Okay, if you want to increase the size of your screen, for that height, maximum width. Okay, and then minimum height, minimum width. These were all the properties we are provide for height maintain designing the blocks of web page. In a block web page section you created, right? So alli ನೀವೇನಾದರೂ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ we use this layouts. And then list, you can also add properties to your listers. Their list style you can change. And then for list, instead of bullets and numbers, you can also insert images. And then if you want to remove the list style means bullets. If you want to remove, by default bullet will come in another list, right? If you want to remove, then use list style type, none, or you can use bullet, or you can use circle. Okay, circle. Okay, so that you can use, these are the property we can use in listers. And then values for each one. Okay, so here what we see, these are all what properties. For properties, now what values we need to give. So listen here, first one is values. First we see the color values. For colors, which are all the values we are providing? In CSS, for we can give color names. For color, we can give names in three different ways. One is directly you can provide name. Okay, directly you can provide name as a value for color, and then you can give RGB values, and you can give hexadecimal values, and then RGBA. I will tell you what is this A, and then HSL colors. So in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5 different ways you can name your color. Okay, see what is that name. First, name means you can give the names that are present in the standard of your CSS standard color names you can directly give. CSS standard colors names you can directly give. Sir, ಹೆಂಗ್ ಸರ್ ಕೊಡೋದು color name na? Wait, I will show you. Okay, so here you see, now I create a new file. So I save this one as, first what we need to do, we have to save color.html. I save it as color.html. So first what we need to type, ಏನು ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, HTML, and then inside this HTML, head, right, head, and then next one, body. Okay, you have to type this basic structure. Okay, ಮಾದಲ మీకు ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? So here you give title. So now I give title as CSS color. Okay, CSS color. And then in body, now in body I create one paragraph. Okay, paragraph CSS colors. Okay, CSS colors, COLOR here, COLOUR, not COLOUR. Okay, save this one and run. Okay, which color value it will take now? For color, in which color that data will be printed now? Black. Why black? browser default value, right? Browser default value. Okay, we know browser default value. Okay, so next, see here. Now I am going to design. I already told we can design in 3 different ways: inline, internal, and external. So now I create external file. Don't worry. Okay, so I open new file. Okay, and this one I save as inside CSS. You create one folder. In that you create one CSS folder. Okay, inside this CSS folder, I save this one as color.css. Okay, color.css. CSS files you always save by using .css extension. Okay, this one is color.css. Okay, color.css. Now I type what we need to type now. Now we are going to design. We are designing by using CSS. What's the syntax for CSS? Selector, property, value. First selector here. Which one is the selector here now? P. We have only P. P is the selector. Paragraph is the selector. Type P here. Okay, and then what we have to do? Open flower basis and close flower basis. Now property. Property is what? Which property we are going to change? Color. Color. Value is what? Now we are giving name only. Name matra kodtidivalva. So now I give name as red, and then you end with semicolon. Okay, this is this type of creating separate file, and you are assigning as designing your HTML in the sense external CSS. This external CSS if you created, then you need to link this file to HTML. Where? Inside head by using link tag. Link relation is equal to what? What? Style sheet. I explained, right? Style is equal to relation is equal to style sheet, and then next what we need to type? Type is equal to text bar CSS. Okay, and then next how to link? By using href. Href is equal to file path, right? File path is what? CSS folder. File name is what? color.css. Okay, this one is unpaired tag. Okay, if you link like this, if you create an external site sheet, you have to link like this. Okay, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ಈ ಥರ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಕಲರ್ ರೆಡ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಲ್ವಾ? ಇವಾಗ ರನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? HTML ಎಲ್ಲ ರನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ? ರೆಡ್ ಕಲರ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ? This one is directly by giving name, color name. Here what we gave? Color name. Color name ಮಾತ್ರ ತಾನೇ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Okay, CSS ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸರ್ ನಾನು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು HTML ಒಳಗಡೆನೇ ಬರಿತೀನಿ. Yes, you can type by using internal CSS. What is that internal CSS? How you design? By using style tag. Inside this style tag, you have to mention the selector property value. Now I cut this one and then paste it here. Will it get executed? Executed. Now I give this one as green. Okay, and then save. Okay, so now I go and run it again. It will change to green, right? Yes. Okay, so listen here. So now I gave red. So here also I designed. This one is internal CSS. This one is what? External CSS. So now here I gave red. Here I gave green. Now which color it took? Why green? First inline, internal, external. Are we designed internal? Inline here? No. Inline madilla. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್. Okay, yes. Now I thought that you understand something. You understood something. Okay. So this one is the way of giving values to your CSS. Okay. So now we use only name. So like this, you can also give values in the form of RGB values. So for that we have to call RGB function. See here, RGB function. So this function accepts 3 parameters. Okay. So here RGB means R indicates red, G indicates green, B indicates blue. Just like your WebGayar, how you are mixing 7 colors, like that here they are mixing 3 colors, red, green and blue. Okay, so for that values will be vary from 0 to 255. Okay, first color value, first argument value passed as red color value, second for blue, third for green. Okay, if you just mention 255, okay, you can mention the values from 0 to 255. Just you mention 255 and then leave other two as 0, then it will print what? Red. Okay, first if you leave 0, second if you give 255 and then third you leave 0, second color value is what? Green. Next 0 0 255, blue. 0 0 0, black. 255 255 255, red. Like this color combination will be there. Okay, so now instead of name you can also give what? RGB function. Actually this one, oh my god, here function end with semicolon, don't forget. Okay, so now I give 255 comma 0 comma 0. This one is which color? Red, right? Okay, red. Change, right? And then now I change this one to 255 0. Next, which color? Save and run. Green. Okay. So next I change this one to 0 255. Save and then see the output. Blue. Okay. Next I make it 0. Then which color? Black. Black. Yes. And next I give 255 255 255 255 255 ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? 3 255 ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ರೆಡ್ಡಾ? ವೈಟ್ ಏನು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ವೈಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಸರ್ ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ ನೀವು ಕಲರ್ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ 255 255 ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಗ್ರೀನು ಮತ್ತು ರೆಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ಯೆಲ್ಲೋ ಕಲರ್. Okay, like this you can give 255 255 instead of 255 give 2 and then 55 here. Okay, you can vary the colors from 0 to 255, you get some other color. Okay, some different colors. Okay, this is the way of representing RGB colors. Okay, so next one is hexadecimal. Okay, in hexadecimal we represented using hash. Okay, there, listen here, listen and then write. In RGB we give color values from 0 to 255. Here instead of numbers we give in the form of hexadecimal. What that hexadecimal F indicates? How many bits? F in hexadecimal 16 bits, right? Hexadecimal 0 to 9, A to F. F indicates 16. F indicates 16. 16 into 16 how much? 256. You are in final year of your technical education. 256. So here also you see 256 bits, right? 256. 0 to 225 in the sense 256. Here also 256 we represented using hexadecimal. That's it. But hash double F indicates 255 bits. Okay. For now, for red color, what value we need to give now? First, what we have to mention? Hash symbol, double F indicates 255 bits for red color. 0000 for green and blue. Okay, go to your browser and see the output. See, red banta, artha agide enu anta. Okay, and then now I mix green and red, blue and red. Then what value? What color? Some dark blue color. Okay, so here you can observe the thing in your desktop. Okay, so it will showing differently here. Okay, from my laptop screen to your the displaying projector screen, its color will be varying. Okay, so that color will get difference. Okay, so this one is the way of in representing hexadecimal. Okay, I hope you all understand. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಪ್ಪ? ಓಕೆ. And then you can shorten, you can make it shorten, only 3 digits you can give. Okay, F 0 F. Okay, only single F also indicates the hexadecimal. Okay, so next one is what? So next one is RGBA. RGBA. For RGB we are attaching A. A indicates alpha. Alpha means here transparency. Alpha indicates transparency. It accepts the values from 0.0 to 1. 0.0 to 1. Transparent. Okay. So here you see I increase the font size actually. So for increasing the font size, which property we have? Font size. Font size I increase to 20 pixel. Okay, 20 pixel. Here font size will get increases. Okay, so here alpha means it will create the transparent value. So what we have to do in the sense, for this same you attach RGB value. So RGB function you call. Okay, now I called RGB function. 255 is for what? Red. Okay, comma 0 comma 0 first value. Okay, so now it display which color? Red color. Okay, this red color I want to make it transparent. For transparent, next you attach another one value. So for that first I give 0.5. Okay, for this you can give values in the form of 0.1, 0.2. So least value is 0.0. Okay, highest value is, maximum value is 1.0. Okay, save. So here you see it will be transparent. Blur, it will become blur. Okay, if you want to make like this, for that we use alpha. Okay, so next one is HSL. So this HSL indicates hue, saturation and lightness. What is this? HUE, hue, saturation and lightness. So for hue, that value we give in the form of degrees. That will accept the value in the from 0 degree to 360 degree. Actually that hue is a color of African Photoshop color mixing, green color. Okay, and then saturation. Okay, saturation level of that color. Okay, that indicates yes, that accept the values from 0 to 100%. And then lightness, you are giving lighting values. L indicates lightness. That one is also accept the value from 0 to 100. 0 to 100. 100%. For first one, degrees. Okay, for first value you have to give in the form of degrees, 0 to 360. Second one, percentage. Third one, percentage. 0 to 100, 0 to 100. Second and third, saturation and lightness. For you, 0 to 360 degree. Green color it will come. Okay, actually. Okay, instead of RGB now what we have to do? You have to attach HSL. HSL here we give value in the form of degrees. Now I give 270. Okay, here in the form of percentage, 50% saturation, 50% lightness. Okay, you can give differently. Okay, check ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಇದರೆಲ್ಲ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು. ಓಕೆನಾ, ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ನೋಡುವ. $, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. Okay, and then I remove this alpha to see the which color it will display. See the output. Okay, see some blue color will come. Okay, if you do like that. Okay, so if you give 120 degree, okay, and then see the output. Okay, it will give some green color. Okay, so like this it will give the color values. And then here you have another one value called HSLA alpha. That one is also for transparency. Okay, so these are the different types of RGB color values. Okay, you can provide in CSS. Okay, so next we see units. Okay, so units in next video session. Okay, now you take a short break. Okay, try to execute these things. Okay, HTML, CSS. Next we see the different values. Okay, and then different how to. Okay. Now we have only this units part. I complete this one, and then in next video session we start with location of styles. So where we have mentioned, now I already explained that one, internal, inline and external. That one is the same. Okay, so see here, these are all the different types of units that represents the pixels, means size of your fonts. Okay, so first one is pixel. Pixel mainly used in your fonts. For giving size to your fonts, we use pixels. This pixel values we are giving from 1 to 96. Okay, so unto 96 values you can give, up to maximum 96 or 100 you can also give, it will accept it. Okay, so and then em, so em indicates enumerate value. So this equal to the computed value of the font size property of an element, which is used when is used for font sizes. And em unit is a relation to the font size of the parent. Means so actually it will accept the value from the default of that particular element, default parent of that particular element default value. Okay, and then percentage. Okay, listen here, this one is very important. Percentage and pixel. Percentage always depends on screen. If you give 100%, okay, which screen you are using, that screen it will consider as 100%. If you are using mobile, that mobile screen it will consider as 100%. If you use desktop also it will consider as 100%. But pixel is not like that. In mobile, that pixel values are get changes. What happened in mobile pixel? Maximum that one 620 pixel width is there, height is there. But if you go to desktop, 1200, 1300 pixel. Okay, pixel is fixed value, but your percentage is varying value. Percentage why varying? It depends on the screen. If you give any screen, their percentage we are using. By using percentage also you can measure. Actually, for designing responsive designing means if your website in open in all the web pages. Okay, for responsive designing mainly we use percentage. Okay, and then you can also use ex. Okay, this one is rarely used. Excite means that width, horizontal height, for that we use x. And then ch is for relative measures. Don't worry about this ch and then rvm. Okay, inches also you can use. And then centimeter use, millimeter use, pt points equal to the 1 by 70 to 75 of an inch. Actually 1 inch means 1 by 60 I think, but this one is 1 by 72. And then pica equal to the 1 by 6 of an inch. Okay, these are all the different units you can use to measure or fix the size of an element. But mainly we use percentage and pixels. Okay, percentage and pixels you use. Okay. Okay, so in next video session we discussed about the location of styles. So now you go and practice. Okay, actually what we discussed today, so try to practice. Try to insert that, create that one element. For that you apply that color values. Okay, RGB values, hexadecimal values, and then font values, and then different types of background values that you attach. Okay. Okay, take a break now. Okay, thank you.